Hello Pisces, and welcome to your March 2023 reading for the new moon. So this is a collective reading for Pisces sun or rising signs. And I'm feeling that one. So we are going to take a look at what is showing up in your space, how to take action, what spiritual advice is coming up. And I know this isn't an astrological reading, but there are some things that I feel are prominent, and I would be remiss if I did not mention them. So we have a lot going on, and let's just start with, first of all, thank you guys for giving me the feedback and saying that these particular cards are actually really helpful. People have been saying that this focusing the general readings on what area of life have been helpful. So I'm just going to keep with that until it's no longer useful. So what we have showing up here is Virgo. And so it's really interesting. Virgo is, it's I would say the temple priestess. It's how we can be of service, right? Certain things about Virgo that I would mention, as far as what area of life we're looking at to concentrate this general reading, is we're talking about what skills do you have that you feel like you want to contribute to other people that are of value, that you want to feel like after they've interacted with you or they've been able to experience these gifts or skills that you have, that it has been helpful in some way, right? And that's part of the Virgo energy. Virgo is a healer. It's the temple priestess. It's the energy that is wanting to be of service, but not in a slave kind of way, but to be of service in a way it's in a meaningful way, in a way that's hey, I want to help people. I want people to feel like what I offer is helpful to them and it's of value. And I just really hope that I can make a difference in some way. I can make an impact, right? Now Virgo is also, very, the shadow side can be very analytical, critical, to a degree that's unhelpful, right? It can be about perfectionism and things need to be just so. And so apply this to wherever in your life you feel like you can apply these themes, right? So for this particular reading, the way that we look at things, we're going to look at it through that lens. So let's also take a look at, from new moon to full moon, people are typically looking at setting intentions or seeding things, right, for that particular phase. And we only have this particular time every month, right? We have about approximate 2-week period of time where we can focus our time, energy, and attention. And my question is, how can we focus that time, energy, and attention? How can we actually create something build the momentum, get the snowball rolling? How would it be most effective for us to utilize our energy, right? And what is the spiritual advice that's coming through? And I'm feeling a different deck for that. So how can we, I'm feeling like this is it for the spiritual energy. Interesting. Pisces, super interesting, Pisces. So Pisces, let's just talk about a couple of things first before we get into this. Let's talk about the fact that recently we just had, in tropical astrology, we just had Saturn move into Pisces. So during this next 2.5 to 3 years, we're going to have Pisces placements. Now remember, this is for Pisces sun or rising. It's going to be a time of Saturn comes in and teaches lessons in growing up and taking responsibility in new and different ways. And that can be really expansive depending on which house it's hitting in your particular natal chart. It can also feel like limitation and really hard and harsh depending on how we're handling all of this and what's on our plate, right? So you guys are already dealing with quite a lot. And I feel like this has to do with your health and your contribution to the world, to your purpose, your path, right? And your how you do that on the micro level and the macroscopic level. So how can you focus this attention and energy during this period of time? And during this period of time, what I'm talking about too is the three astrological points that I just want to mention really quickly, which is on Monday, March 20th, we have the spring equinox. And we could say that's all day, all night, right? But when it's the peak and the pinnacle of that is at 2:24 p.m. Pacific time. So depending on where you are in the world, you can adjust that, right? But we can say it's all day. I'm releasing these readings on that day before the new moon, which happens the next day on the 21st. And the new moon in tropical astrology moves into Aries at 10:23 a.m. Pacific. So, you know, we have the equinox, which is the astrological new year, which is not the Gregorian calendar new year for January 1st. We have the astrological new year, and that is like when I mean, for me, it makes more sense. For you, I'm not going to say what you should believe or not believe, but for me, it makes so much more sense because this is when, you know, spring bursts forth, new blades of grass, new flowers bloom, new leaves on trees and bushes. It's like growth happening, newness happening. That is the beginning of something, right? It's the beginning, it's being born. And the same thing with the new moon energy in general, no matter what new moon we're looking at, it's that has that same kind of energy. And it's in Aries, a cardinal sign, which is all about this combustive type of energy, this passion, this bursting forth kind of energy into life. So we have that all showing up just at the very beginning here, and that's for this reading, right? And then we have Pluto ingressing into Aquarius, which only traverses into a new sign every approximately 20 years, which means that its effects when it moves into a new sign is its ripple effect is massive. It's happening over the collective. There are new themes that are going to be overlaid in the collective. And of course, those are going to affect us on a personal level. So we get to actually have Pluto move into Aquarius in tropical astrology slightly before sunrise on the West Coast. And it's going to be there for about 5-6 months. We'll get a preview of what the next 20 years are going to look like, because it'll retrograde back into Capricorn where it is in Capricorn, and then it'll go back into Aquarius in 2024 officially and stay there for approximately 20 years. It's a big deal. So we'll be talking about this more over the years, but I just want to mention that because I'm like, these readings are longer than my normal new moon readings, and I'm doing them because I feel like it's super important to have them be informative, like so that you know what's coming, so you can observe what's happening and you can make note in your journal or diary or whatever, or a mental note of what's occurring in your life to get the flavor of it. So with that said, let's just like finish this out. So what we have as far as like where you can place your time, energy, and attention in a way that's more pragmatic, that's not just like, let me plant some seeds and set some intentions, is really owning your personal power. So with the Queen of Wands, what I'm feeling in this particular position is owning your personal power, owning what is your personal authority, and in the way that it relates to not only just your day-to-day life and how you're creating your world on a day-to-day basis, but also in the way that you're contributing to other people, like how you're utilizing that to, and it doesn't have to be your like career path or what you do for money or your purpose. This can just be how you show up with your friends or the people that are in your life, right? And so the spiritual advice that we have coming through with that is the 10 of Swords, right? So it's just like, you know, there is this need to allow for the end of cycles to happen. Those cycles, whatever they are, need to be done. We're moving into completely new cycles. Even though it may not feel that way, there may be some muddled feelings because of the other astrology happening that I haven't even mentioned. But like, this is the energy of saying like, hey, this is kicking a dead horse. Like the thing is dead and gone. It's already done, right? So needing to allow yourself to let go of these past patterns. Let go of the things that have not been working. Recognize what is draining your energy, what hasn't been working, and let that go. Step into your personal power and see how you can fortify not only your daily, like the thing about the mundane with the daily habits and daily rituals, it seems really boring, but if you think about it, your daily habits and what you do on a daily basis with your daily rituals are what build the actual foundation and structure upon which everything else gets built. Your relationships, your career, your family connections, your friendships, everything, right? And so this is like, these two cards I feel like are super, very much very clear. And like the spiritual advice that I'm getting is like, hey, for some of you out there, for some of you Pisces, sun or rising Pisces, there are some things that you have been trying to keep going that are not going to keep going. They're dead weight, and you need to let them be, let them go, and start the new cycle, right? Like the end of one cycle is the beginning of a new cycle. That's the cool thing about this particular card, is like you see in the background that it's like it's about to be a new day. Right? And like the end of one cycle is the beginning of a new, and we have the beginning of this astrological year, the spring, we have the new moon, we have all of like, we have the celestial body, Pluto moving into a new sign. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that doesn't feel new and liberating, but even though there's like muddled energy in the astrology besides that, and doesn't maybe feel as freeing or as liberating as it could, there are things that you can allow yourself to let go of to start the new cycle. And I feel like that is all congruent. Like this all really comes together. And to get the big picture, I feel like you can really just check out your March 2023 reading, and I'll have that up on the screen. I mean, like personally, just I would say it's, you know, if you want to really know, get a reading yourself. That is also in the description box below. I will have the April readings up in the next few days also. So if you hit the subscribe and notification bell, you'll know exactly when that comes out. And then you can see the progression, right? Like you can check out your March reading, this reading that you're watching now, and then you can check out in a few more days like the April reading, and you can kind of get like the full picture, right? If this is resonating and it's your message, it's your message. If it's not, then I would say get a personal reading, or check out, if this is your sun sign, check out your rising sign. So I hope that this is helpful. I really do. And, you know, just wishing you a lot of ease and awesomeness and clarity through this time. And I thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.